Recently, we did a video. Actually, we recovered an issue with a certain individual by the name of Mr. Othello. Y'all might remember him for the last 2 years almost. We've been covering his story, technically about a year and a half. Anyway, he had a letter that he wrote to Mr. RFK Jr., seeing as how he has become a fixture now in the Trump administration over the exact area that we need to help with, which is children, health and human services. Actually, part of the department that he has is to deal with the welfare of kids.
My 7-year-old son, Yeshua, was one of 6 who escaped the child sex ring. How many more American children have been denied HHS federally mandated constitutional guarantees, Mr. Kennedy? Yeshua's due process today, with your help, will free his baby brother Caleb from the child sex ring and maybe thousands more.
But apparently some people, well, not some, a few people have no concept of what that office actually does. And so that's one thing. And secondarily, they have not kept track of Mr. Othello's story. And so here's the problem when you don't keep track of something, but you decide to insert your 2 cents. You don't come across as the most educated person. Let's put it like that. I don't want to be too above you, but sometimes if you place yourself somewhere, I got to look at you that's where you want to be. So this is where you want to be. If you want to be on that side of history, have fun with it, everybody. The questions we have, I'll say it like this. I'm going to read the comments, and then you can tell me if we're taking this a little too, what's the word? Crazy? I don't believe we are, but you never know anymore. One comment said, "Why is this being addressed now? He literally just took office. So go back to the Biden administration and ask them. Make sure you 8-finger pointing." I'm assuming that means ain't. ATE, ain't finger pointing at the right people. Or are. I guess that would be are then, judging by the end of it. Make sure you are finger pointing at the right people. Is it just me, or is anyone else awake? I think it's just you. That's asleep, not awake. We addressed this during the Biden administration. In fact, countless times throughout his administration, we addressed this. In fact, I would even go in further. Mr. Othello has been seeking justice long ago. So again, if you're not keeping track of the actual situation, then maybe your 2 cents aren't really 2 cents. It might be something akin to like 1/2 cent, probably. I don't know. We're trying to figure this out because at this point, we're confused. We are honestly confused because the thing is, it's not just that person that said something like that. Here's another one. This isn't RFK Jr.'s job. Get to the right department. Look, I understand civics may not have been something that most people have participated in high school. But if you did take a civics class, and you still can, it's on the internet, it's free. The civics class would have told you that health and human services actually covers child welfare. Not sure you maybe you didn't know. I'll chalk it up to you didn't know. Well, now you know. It is actually correctly and directly in his wheelhouse. This is actually something he can have direct effect on. But hey, since you didn't know, I'm going to assume then that you either didn't want to or that you are not privy to it at some point in time. So now we're helping people out. So I guess that's what we're going to go with. We're helping you. And finally, another good one here. How come you weren't demanding Biden to make things right? You talk like this man has been in charge all this time. RFK just got in office. Give him a chance and be more respectful. The third option here is that people don't listen to the actual video. I fear people listen to the first portion of something and hear a name and assume that because we're asking something that we disagree with the person. To the contrary, au contraire, mon frère. Here's the thing. We're asking Mr. RFK to look directly at this particular case because this particular case has names, dates, and everything else attached to it. You know what comes from that? It gives you a nice foundation to go after the rest of the criminals that actually hurt children. You see how this works? The prior administration wasn't doing it. In fact, the amount of children that were exploited went up. So we are hoping that somebody who says that they've been praying for this day would actually do something, will give them an actual case they can work with directly. It's a lot of the legwork's already done. This is Mr. Othello's story, as opposed to other people who have come forward. Jay-Z and you see, we have tangible stuff, and not only tangible from people from prior administrations and people who have actually had positions in government that facilitated the abuse of children. So for all of you who have the inability to listen, you don't have the attention span or the intelligence, and yes, we're going to say some pretty harsh things to you, because at some point, the truth has to be told. You see, there are some people who can listen and understand. There are some people who can't hear or listen and don't understand. And to those people, we have this to say to you: practice it. It'd be good for you. In fact, we would think that this would probably be the best life advice we can give you. Don't assume from 1 or 2 lines that you know what the video is going to be about. Take your mind off of TikTok 10-second time frames and put them in long form. Perhaps you might be able to, 1, get rid of the ADHD that you got, and make sure that your brain can actually process the things you're hearing and actually slot them in the positions that they're supposed to be in. Because when you do the things you're doing and comment the way you're commenting, the only person that looks slow is you. But for the rest of us who are listening to Mr. Othello and can keep track because we have an attention span longer than a gnat, we know what he's trying to do. We understand, and we will get behind him 100% because he brings receipts with his complaint, and he knows who to take it to. Not just the internet, not just the talk shows, and not just the podcasts, but to the source to get the help. And if you're not going to be the one helping us, move out the way.